Some of you may wonder why I put this in the public domain. Others will whine because I did not show the secrets in the aluminum block. Any mediocre inventor should figure out that if net forces can be produced on a block of steel with permanent magnets, they can do it better, more profitably, using electromagnets. Mediocre profiteers should know that only a small percentage of oil is burned for electric motors. Over 95% is burned for transportation and heating or cooling. So when the generator version of Synchropetra technology is revealed, old technology motors will still work just fine. This class will disclose the inventing process behind the transportation technology, but it will not be free. Anyone watching further will need to pay tuition. The tuition is a quick note to this man who is spending taxpayers' dollars but not doing his job. More important, he is avoiding his responsibilities using propaganda instead of common sense. Please send him a note. There is no penalty for not paying tuition, only a great reward. You will be able to truthfully tell your children and grandchildren that you helped stop burning oil, the associated manufacturing of body bags and artificial limbs, and homelessness for the brave after the propaganda is done. Understanding this makes all dreams possible or able to be invented. Inventing 101 can be condensed. All the dreams referenced here are possible if levitation forces can be redirected. The propaganda is that levitation is described in many terms. I prefer equal and opposite forces, with one of the forces being gravity. Levitation is a more efficient term. Our inventions and dream-come-true opportunities are levitation forces that can be used in any direction. The propaganda here is that there is force as well as acceleration. In fact, force is imaginary at maximum acceleration, aka free fall. To get to the moon or any other planet, rockets need only have enough energy to get to levitation, equal and opposite gravity points, with a little bit extra velocity and angle if the mission does not include a violent crash. The tiny bit of velocity can be amplified 1,000 times or more. All of our technology simply takes advantage of this ability to amplify angles and cycle frequency by changing something else, or indirectly. God, or evolution, invented this. Albatross are said to be able to soar and make headway into the wind without fluttering their wings. They may have the shallowest glide path at more than 20 to 1. Making headway might be attributed to a very efficient fluttering tail. Most of the efficiency might be due to powerful tendons acting as energy-recovering springs in both the tail and wings, and in all long-distance migrating animals. The springs are well tuned, eliminating the need for more muscle and fuel. Inventors have already capitalized on that technology. We have too, but springs have bad stuff in the form of working best at only one critical speed. Mediocre inventors would simply choose an alternative energy storage device. Likewise, muscles are heat engines, unable to recover energy, so magnetic and Newtonian forces are also better choices, or the only choices capable of making some dreams come true. A quick montage to demonstrate our mediocre inventing skills. The challenge is more accurate measurements to determine the right equations to be able to make magnet motors as easy as baking a cake. Another inventor was given the challenge of fixing this so we could make front-wheel drive cars. It consumes energy 2 ways, but it is the only way to transfer enough torque to move a car. With less than perfect alignment, it produces fluttering velocity. Gas engines, like albatross muscles, cannot recover energy during deceleration. Springs acting like tendons would solve the problem, but they break after just a few miles. More energy is lost to a fundamental law that mechanical engineers know as three-bar linkage. The large inertia of the car and its flywheel make them both want to stay in motion at the same speed, but the powerful universal joint out of alignment says they must be at different fluctuating speeds, thereby amplifying the unrecoverable energy. Thomson added another set of bearings to make it a four-bar linkage, a constant angular velocity device. We know it as a CV joint and shrug when a mechanic says it needs to be replaced. A skilled inventor might take advantage of the fluttering acceleration, like the albatross flutters his tail. The challenge is an energy recovery system not using gravity, heat, or springs. Functionally, the challenge is to reverse what Thomson did and find a tendon that both pushes and pulls. Thomson had spinning shafts and angular misalignment. To reverse this process, we will use stationary shafts and radial misalignment. The next task is to get one part spinning at constant angular velocity, inducing another part to flutter. The equations for four-bar linkages are well understood and one of the few tools in my mediocre bag of tricks. Fluctuating angles that would destroy most universal joints are a simple matter. Not my invention, just my ability to use equations to determine the bar lengths to meet the challenge. Does anyone dispute the flutter in the lower disc? The last challenge is the tendon that both pushes and pulls. Drat, that's already invented too. Here is the smallest size I can make, and look, it fits. Size matters. This is also the size and quantity that's needed to make a couple of dreams come true. Using other already invented stuff, 4 of these tendons would be needed for a more comfortable and safer ride on this age-old dream. For this dream, the tendons would need to be twice the size, and a luxury ride would require 6 or 8. Few viewers are expected to pay the tuition until something funded with OPM is seen with their own eyes. These tendons will be put to that task soon. Then the threshold might be moved to seeing the recipe and equations for the accelerated masses. But that would only be enough to end burning half the oil, so the threshold could be moved again. Nearly all the oil burning will end when this fundamental concept is better understood. Not invented yet, does not work anymore. Bring the brave home with all their tendons intact. Maybe the threshold is a walk to the podium of shame for the crime of propaganda.